You are not going to believe the absolute wreckage I am about to unpack for you today. Honey, grab the whole bottle of wine, not just the glass, because this story, it is the definition of play stupid games, win stupid prizes. We are talking about a woman who had it all, the loving husband, the house, the kids, and decided to throw it all away for a little thrill at the local swim club. But the way she got caught and the way her husband exacted his revenge, it is diabolical. It is cold. And frankly, it's the kind of karma that hits like a freight train. Let's get right into the mess. I'm staring at my husband, Marcus, but it's like looking at a stranger, a terrifying 6'2" stranger who is currently holding a trembling, naked man by the neck. The room is spinning. My heart is hammering against my ribs so hard I think it might actually crack a bone. The air smells like rain and cheap cologne and absolute panic. Marcus, please! I scream, my voice cracking, sounding pathetic even to my own ears. Don't hurt him! Please, just let him go! Marcus doesn't even look at me. His eyes are dead, shark eyes. He just tightens his grip on Toby, the man I've been sleeping with, and backs him up toward the open balcony doors. We're on the second floor. Below us is Mrs. Gable's prize-winning rose garden. It's a long drop into a bed of thorns. You wanted him in our house, Elena? Marcus says, his voice scary, calm. You wanted him in my space? Fine, let's see how well he flies. And before I can even process what's happening, Marcus shoves. He doesn't just push, he launches Toby backward. I watch in slow motion as my lover's heels catch the edge of the doorframe, his arms flail, and he disappears into the gray, rainy afternoon. There is a sickening crunch of branches, a muffled thud, and then the most ungodly screeching sound I have ever heard in my life. That was the moment my life officially ended, but honestly, looking back, I died a long time before Toby hit those rose bushes. Let me back up and tell you how a 31-year-old mother of two, named Elena, that's me, decided to blow up her entire world. I had been with Marcus for 13 years, married for 10. We were the couple everyone envied. You know the type. We hosted the neighborhood barbecues, our kids, a 9-year-old girl and an 8-year-old boy, were polite and got good grades. Marcus was a good man. A great man, actually. He worked hard, he loved me, and our intimacy was fine. It was good. It was consistent. But I was bored. I know. You're already rolling your eyes. Boo-hoo, my perfect life is boring. But that's the thing about entitlement. It creeps up on you. I started craving attention. I wanted that spark, that butterflies in the stomach nausea you get when you're 16 and your crush looks at you. Enter Toby. I met him at the community pool during our kids' swim meets. He was a swim dad. He had that rugged, slightly messy look, stubble, laugh lines, always in a faded band t-shirt. He worked from home, so he was always there on the bleachers, cheering for his 6-year-old daughter. It started innocently enough. We'd stand by the concession stand, complaining about the humidity or the price of Gatorade. Can you believe this heat? He'd say, leaning in just a little too close. I feel like I'm melting. Tell me about it. I'd laugh, flipping my hair. I'd kill for an iced coffee right now. Those little interactions became the highlight of my week. I started dressing up for swim practice, putting on extra mascara, checking for his car in the parking lot. Then came the conversation that changed everything. We were standing by the lockers waiting for the kids to change. The hallway was empty. Elena, he said, his voice dropping an octave, I have to tell you something, and I know I shouldn't. My heart did that traitorous little flip. What is it, Toby? I can't stop thinking about you, he said, looking me dead in the eye. I know we're both married. I know it's wrong, but I have these feelings and they're driving me crazy. I should have walked away. I should have slapped him. I should have told Marcus immediately. Instead, I let the silence hang there, thick and heavy. I'm happily married, Toby, I said, but my voice lacked conviction. We can't do this. He backed off immediately. I respect that. I'm sorry. But he didn't stop looking at me. And God help me, I didn't stop looking back. It was like a drug. The fact that he wanted me that much, enough to risk his own marriage, made me feel powerful. A week later, he asked to meet for coffee in the next town over. Just to clear the air, he said. Just to talk as friends. If you are ever in this situation, honey, let me tell you right now, it is never just coffee. It is never just talking. I went, we sat in a booth in the back corner of a Starbucks. We talked about our lives, our dreams, our boredom. He told me his wife, Bianca, was cold, that she didn't understand him, that they were roommates raising a child. It was the classic cheater script, and I ate it up with a spoon. You're just so vibrant, he told me, reaching across the table to graze my hand. You make me feel alive, Elena. At the end of the date, he wrote his address on a napkin. Come over tomorrow, he whispered. Bianca is at work. The kid is at school. Just come over. I can't, I said. He leaned in and kissed me, softly at first, then harder. And I didn't pull away. I kissed him back. I felt that electric jolt I'd been missing. The next day, I was in his driveway. We didn't talk. I walked in and we just collided. It was frantic. It was messy. And afterward, as I lay there in his bed, looking at the framed photos of his beautiful wife and his smiling daughter on the dresser, I felt like I was going to vomit. I started crying, full-on sobbing. I can't do this, I wailed, scrambling to put my clothes on. I love Marcus. I love my kids. What is wrong with me? Toby just sat there looking confused. Elena, hey, it's okay. It's just physical. It doesn't mean we don't love our families. I ran out of there. I swore to myself I would never, ever do it again. I avoided him at the pool for a week. I hugged Marcus extra tight. I cooked his favorite lasagna. I tried to scrub the guilt off my skin in the shower. But then Toby slipped me a note at the next meet, a hotel key card. Room 212, he whispered as he walked past me. Tomorrow at noon. I'll be waiting. If you don't come, I'll understand. But I need you. And like a moth to a flame, I went. If you're already shook by my absolute lack of self-control, hit that like button, because I haven't even gotten to the part where I destroy everything. And trust me, you're going to want to see how this train wreck ends. We met at the hotel. We did the deed. I cried again. We established a pattern. Meet, hook up. I cry about the guilt. He tells me it's worth the risk. We go home to our unsuspecting spouses. We did this for a month. Then the guilt became too much. Or maybe the paranoia did. I started noticing Marcus looking at me differently. He was quieter. He was checking his phone more often. At a swim meet, I saw Marcus and Toby actually talking, for 20 minutes. I watched from the other side of the pool, sweating bullets. When Marcus came back, he was calm. What were you guys talking about? I asked, trying to sound casual. Just work, Marcus said, shrugging. Funny guy. Seems a bit nervous, though. That was it. I decided I had to end it. I told Toby the next day. We have to stop. I said, this is insane. We're going to get caught. Okay, Toby agreed. You're right, but can we have one last time, a proper goodbye? I don't want it to end in a cheap hotel room. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is where I made the decision that ruined my life. I agreed to meet him one last time at my house. Marcus was supposed to be at the office. The kids were at school. It was raining, a dreary Tuesday. I told Toby to park 2 streets over and walk through the back alley so no one would see his car. He came to the side door. He was wet from the rain. We went upstairs to the guest room because even I had a line I wouldn't cross. I wouldn't defile my marital bed. We were saying our goodbyes. Lots of hugging, lots of, I'll always remember you. We started getting intimate. And then the door handle turned. There was no sound of a car in the driveway, no garage door opening, no footsteps on the stairs, just the door flying open. Marcus was standing there, and he was holding his phone up, recording. What the hell is going on here? Marcus roared. We scrambled apart. I pulled a sheet up, screaming. Toby tried to dive for his pants. Marcus! Oh my God, I shrieked. I can explain. It's not what it looks like. Not what it looks like? Marcus laughed, a cold, dark sound. It looks like you're cheating on me with the swim dad in our guest room. Is that about right? Toby, the idiot, panicked. He's smaller than Marcus, maybe 5'10", 160 pounds, soaking wet. Marcus plays rugby on weekends. He's a tank. Toby tried to rush past Marcus to get to the door. I'm leaving! Marcus blocked the doorway like a bouncer. Toby bounced off Marcus's chest and fell to the floor. He scrambled up, adrenaline pumping, and tried to charge Marcus again. That's when Marcus pushed him hard. Toby flew backward, hit the screen of the open balcony door, and the screen popped out. He went with it, which brings us back to the rose bushes. I ran to the balcony, wrapped in the sheet, looking down. Toby was tangled in the thorns, buck naked, groaning. He was scratched up, bleeding in a few places, but he was moving. He was alive. Marcus didn't even look down. He walked over to where Toby's pants were lying on the floor. He picked them up and fished out Toby's cell phone. Marcus, stop, I begged, grabbing his arm. What are you doing? He shook me off like a fly. He marched downstairs and out the front door. I followed him, still wrapped in the sheet, terrified he was going to go down there and finish the job. But Marcus didn't hit Toby. He stood over him in the bushes, holding the phone. "Unlock it," Marcus commanded. "Please, man," Toby whimpered, trying to cover himself with his hands. "Please don't. I'm sorry. I'll leave. Just give me my clothes." "Unlock the damn phone," Marcus yelled, "or I call the cops right now and tell them you broke in and tried to assault my wife. Who do you think they'll believe?" Toby, shaking from the cold and the fear, rattled off his passcode. Marcus typed it in. He scrolled through the contacts. He found wifey, and he hit dial. He put it on speaker. "Hello?" A woman's voice. "Bianca." "Hi, Bianca," Marcus said, his voice terrifyingly pleasant. "This is Marcus, Elena's husband. I'm currently standing in my front yard looking at your husband. He's naked in my rose bushes because I just threw him off my balcony after catching him having sex with my wife." There was a silence on the other end, so profound I felt it in my soul. "What?" Bianca whispered. "I'm going to send you a video I just took," Marcus said. "I suggest you come pick him up, or don't. I'm calling the police either way." He hung up, then he looked at our neighbor, Mr. Henderson, who had wandered over to see what the commotion was. "Everything okay, Marcus?" Mr. Henderson asked, eyeing the naked man in the bushes. "Not really, Bob," Marcus said. "Caught this guy with Elena. I'd appreciate it if you called 911. I want a report filed." "On it," Bob said, looking at me with pure disgust. The next hour was a blur of humiliation. The police arrived. They questioned a shivering, naked Toby in the back of a squad car. They questioned Marcus. They questioned me. Marcus was so calm, it was scary. He told the officers exactly what happened, that he came home early because he had a gut feeling, found us, and pushed Toby in self-defense when Toby charged him. Toby confirmed it because he was terrified of Marcus. Then Bianca showed up. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She walked up to the squad car where Toby was now sitting, wearing his torn clothes. He started sobbing. "Babe, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." She looked at him like he was a cockroach. She spoke to the officer, then turned to Marcus. They spoke for a minute. I couldn't hear what they said, but she nodded. Then she got in her car and drove away, without Toby. The police eventually let Toby go. He had to call an Uber, a barefoot, disheveled Uber ride of shame. When the dust settled, the officer came inside to talk to me. Marcus stayed on the porch. "Ma'am," the officer said, refusing to make eye contact. "Your husband has requested that you leave the premises for the evening to keep the peace. He's calling your parents to come get you." "This is my house," I cried. "I need to talk to him." "It's best if you go," the officer said firmly. 10 minutes later, my dad's truck pulled up. My mom was in the passenger seat. The look on their faces, I wish I could scrub it from my memory. It wasn't anger, it was disappointment. Deep, crushing disappointment. I packed a bag. As I walked out, Marcus was sitting on the porch steps, head in his hands. "Marcus," I whispered, "I love you. I'll fix this." He didn't look up. "Go away, Elena." I went to my parents' house. My dad told me that night, "You broke it, Elena. You don't get to fix this. You just get to survive it." I spent 2 days texting Marcus, calling him, begging, no answer. Finally, on Saturday, he texted, "Meet me at the house, 10 a.m. We need to discuss the separation. Make sure you're subscribed because the update I'm about to drop is going to make you scream at your screen. You think the balcony toss was the climax? Honey, we are just getting started." I showed up at the house with my parents. I wanted to hug him. I wanted to fall at his feet. But when I walked in, Marcus was sitting at the dining room table with a stack of papers and a laptop. He looked like a CEO conducting a hostile takeover. "Sit down," he said. He laid it all out. He had already drawn up a separation agreement. "We split the accounts 50-50, he said, sliding a paper across the table. "You can move back into the guest room, the office. You will stay there. I will stay in the master. You will pay 35% of the household bills starting next month. That's $2,300. I know you don't have a job, so you'll pay it out of your savings until that runs out. Then you better find work." "Marcus, please," I sobbed. "I don't want a separation. I want us." "There is no us," he said coldly. "There is you and there is me, and there are the kids. Speaking of the kids, I've already told them." My blood ran cold. "You told them?" "I told them Mommy made a mistake and hurt Daddy and that we're going to be living differently for a while." He was ruthless. He demanded I sign away any claim to his retirement fund. He set strict rules for communication. We only talk about the kids. If I try to talk about us, he walks away. He then called his parents and my parents on speakerphone and explained the terms. It was humiliating. It was clinical. I moved back into the guest room where I had cheated. It was torture. For months, I lived like a ghost in my own house. Marcus was polite but distant. He laughed with the kids. He watched TV. But the moment I entered the room, the temperature dropped 20 degrees. I got a job at a coffee shop chain down the street because I needed the money. I went from being a comfortable stay-at-home mom to wearing an apron and serving lattes to teenagers. Then, 4 months in, Marcus asked to talk. I got my hopes up. We had been coexisting, no fighting. I thought, this is it. He's going to ask to try counseling. He sat me down. Elena, I'm filing for divorce. What? I gasped. But we're doing so well. I'm doing everything you asked. I don't love you anymore, he said. It wasn't angry, it was just a fact. I look at you and I see him. I see the deception. It's gone, Elena. The trust is dead. The divorce was fast. We had already split the assets. He bought me out of the house. He gave me a little extra cash to get settled, which I thought was generous. I moved into a small 2-bedroom apartment nearby. It's cramped. The walls are thin. I can hear my neighbors arguing. But here is the kicker. Here's the part that keeps me awake at night staring at the ceiling. A month after our divorce was finalized, my daughter came home from a weekend at Daddy's house. She was bouncing off the walls. "Mommy!" she squealed. "Guess what? Ms. Bianca is going to have a baby." I froze. "Who is Ms. Bianca?" "You know," my son chimed in. "From swim team. Daddy and Ms. Bianca are dating, and she's moving in." My world stopped. I did some digging. It turns out Bianca divorced Toby immediately. Like paperwork filed the next week. She got the house, the kid, everything. Toby spiraled, got a DUI, lost his job, now lives in his parents' basement and has supervised visitation. But Marcus and Bianca, apparently they bonded over the trauma of our betrayal. They started meeting for coffee to discuss the legal fallout. Then coffee turned into dinner. Dinner turned into, well, exactly what Toby and I were doing, except they were legally single. They announced their relationship publicly weeks after our divorce. And now, she's pregnant. She is living in my house. She is gardening in the rose bushes where her ex-husband landed. She is cooking in my kitchen. My kids absolutely adore her because she's the victim, just like Daddy. I heard through the grapevine that Toby is terrified of Marcus. He crosses the street if he sees him. I'm sitting here in my tiny apartment writing this to you guys. I work at the coffee shop. I see Marcus and Bianca come in sometimes on weekends. They don't see me in the back. They look happy, genuine, not the frantic, guilty excitement I had with Toby. They look stable, and I'm the one on the outside looking in. I try to tell myself it's a rebound, that Marcus is just hurting and she's a convenient bandage. I tell myself that eventually he'll see she's just as damaged as we all are. But then I see his car parked in the driveway of the home we built together, next to hers, and I realize I didn't just break my marriage. I handed my husband a better life on a silver platter. So let me ask you this, and be brutally honest in the comments. Do you think they are actually in love, or is this just the ultimate revenge plot? And honestly, do I deserve any pity at all, or did I get exactly what was coming to me? Let me know what you think. And if you enjoyed watching my life burn to the ground, make sure you subscribe because knowing my luck, there will be another update soon. Peace out.